On closer inspection, Dawson started here, and I don't really like how it looks. So I'm considering going back to flat stock for him. And if we did, I'll start over here. We can use a simple 1x4 and rip it down to say 1.5 inches or so. He's going to get the rest of this stuff out of here, so we got a nice clean slate. And he can move around a lot easier. So we got to do a little vertical about 3 inches and then go up and up. So we take that square, that not sure what that angle finder, and put it up there and spread it, lock it, set it on the board, check your angle. If it's 32 divided by 2, you got a 16. That's how you get your angles. I'm going to cut them on the, or probably have Dawson cut them on the chop saw. I'm going to run the table saw and make up some stock for him. Let me see that when you got it, Dawson. So it's simple. This is a 1x3. We just rip it up the middle, and we'll get the, what are we trying to say, Dawson? The most material out of the least amount, right?
Yep.
With a little waste. And I think if we used a 1x4, it's going to be too chunky looking, too big for this type of building. So I think a 1x2 would be great up there. All right, so Dawson did some measurements. So if I overcut them, a 2, a 34, 21, 31, 34, 2. So if I cut them a little long, they're going to be easier to work on than these long pieces. He's got these pieces in there. And he's got 2 1x2s. Right? I know you had more than that. But I figure if we did 1.5 inches, we can get it out of 3.5 material. So I got some pieces. I'm going to start cutting them at 1.5 inches. I'll help him out right here on the table saw. Get them cut. He's going to cut the lengths with a chop saw. He's going to go up and split this angle in half on the gambrel so we can cut them to length. Austin's moving everything out of his shed right now. Let's get this thing set up and get going. I normally like to do right of the blade. I like to send my blade just above the material. So if the material's 3/4, I really don't want it any higher than 1 inch. Then normally you're not cutting a bone off if you ever make a mistake that we never want to do, guys. But you want to be safe with it. We take a little scrap, a short one. And you want the blade just to go through, you know. You don't need it really high, because if you do make that mistake, that's going to be bad. Make sure we're on 0. Yep. Now 1.5 inches. I'm going to try to cut it nice and even and steady so that I don't have to worry about doing a joiner. You should put them on a joiner, oversize them, put them on a joiner, finish them up. I'm not going to worry about that too much. The back side you want the same size or slightly larger so it doesn't bind on you. We got a lot of knots. Got to be careful we don't get them in our eye. And on a table saw, you want to put the worst side down because that's the way the blade will go. That's pretty straight. I must have cut this on a table saw. We got a bad spot, so we'll get rid of this. Just like this. Right, Dawson? first one. And this is gotta be over 8 foot, almost 10. So this will do 1 and a part side. This is a 10 footer. And nice sharp blade does a nice job. And he'll probably just take his random orbital sander and just hit it real quick to get these little tiny fibers off. Now I'm just going to rip these up. I got some more in the shed. I'll find some that are that size so we don't have to cut all new stock. And I'll just keep going at it. And we'll calculate, see how many, I think we need what, 6 1x4s cut in half, right? 1x4x8s. So I think we'll figure out how much we need yet. While I'm outside cutting these, I want Dawson to come in here, take that tool, grab that tool, throw it up there, move it this way so a little bit, make sure both touch all the way, and then lock it down. And then he's going to set that on it could be like anything, a cardboard, as long as you have the square. Line up at the edge of the cardboard, hook it on, hook the black part onto the paper, like that. Draw a line. Okay, now mark what that is, upper right. You are. That way you know that angle. Just in case it's 1 degree difference, you never know. You got your square handy? Now check that angle. Line it up on your line.
51 degree.
Write down 51 degrees. Divided by 2 symbol. And what is it?
25 and a half.
25 and a half degrees is what he's cutting the right side on. Now go up to the peak and do the same thing. Take your time, don't be in a rush. Move it this way a little so you're not crowded. Lock it. And label every one you write down. That way it's all on a template. Label that ridge. And then what's the next one you got to do? Dawson?
My lower one.
Up the upper left up there, right? Mm-hmm. And then the lower left and the lower right. And then he's going to write them down. And what I'm considering, I don't know if it'll happen though. Dawson, take your tape measure over there. Well, over here. I can't see over there. Put it against the wall at the bottom. And mark. Well, you don't really have to mark, but if we're doing 1.5 inches, if we did a vertical, you see where the 1.5 inches would go? Touch it. Down the bottom. Yeah. If we did a vertical. Now measure up there on your second board. Turn your tape. No. Against the board. Up on the second board. Up. That board. Yep. Now get it down to the square. Put your tape measure up square. Now 1.5 inches. Go down to the bottom of the board. Like that. You see where 1.5 inches would go? Mm-hmm. Where do you think it would go if we dove it right to the floor?
Like right here.
Wouldn't that be a good idea? Yeah. Then we're just nipping the corner off. We don't have to do a little dinky piece down there, right? Okay. I think that's what we should do on the bottom, guys. Then I don't have to cut a bunch of 2-and-somethings. And so when you give me a measurement, Dawson, look at me. When you do a measurement, measure from up there to the floor plus a little. Okay. And he's going to end up cutting, and then work your way into that mark. Otherwise, he's got to measure out from the wall, 1.5 inches. Listen to me. Look at, measure out 1.5 inches on the wall. Right? No, we're not doing that. Up, up, up. Get square, though. You got too much tape out. But you see where the 1.5 inches would be? You'd almost have put a little mark and then go up higher, all the way up, 1.5 inches, and then you'd run a straight line just to see how long that board's going to be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You like that better than a little dinky piece there?
Yeah.
I think it'll work, but I still need to know that angle. So I'm going to go cut some more. What are you cutting? Your top one first? Get that junk out of your saw. That'll mess you up. Set your angle. What do you got? What is it? So he's going to transfer his numbers. He's going to cut his top. Which side? Left?
Sure.
All
It
right.
matters because
See, I just cut a little piece of junk there. Now stick that up in there on top of your window ledge. And then go ahead and drive that in gently, slowly. It should take that bow out. Be gentle with it. And if it gets it in there right. Okay, don't go too far. Is it against the wall now? Push it back against the wall. Tap it with your hammer gently, no marks on it. How's she look?
better.
Okay, put about 4 nails down through that. And then he's going to take his wedge out. So I nipped off, show me the bottom here. See, I just took off the back side. So now we don't have to do a little dinky piece of molding. That's all we're doing. Go ahead and put your top in. How close does it fit here? Gonna work? Nice. So now, if you take your hand and just press on the center, can you get it to go over and touch? I think if we can make some kind of little pry on it. But what he's got, look over here so you can see what I'm seeing. What do you think we can do to make that better? What do you think?
Hold up.
Yeah, where?
At the right here.
Yeah, that vertical. If I cut off how much?
Like a quarter.
Maybe.
Maybe 8. I don't know.
But remember when I said, you said an inch and I said about 7/8? We cut the inch, but we need it smaller because it needs to fit tight. So that's all I got to do is cut that a little bit off that where it should have been at 7/8. Now you can see your pencil line on the floor, right?
Yep.
So now he's just got to press it in when he nails it. We're good. So now that's all we got to do. We'll do the same thing over here. So take that same piece, put it on that side and see if it's the same size, and I'll cut another one. So now he wants to do this center. He put all his 8-footers right in the center here. So he's going to put a board up on that too, and he's getting his angle. Well, we're having a little bit of video trouble here. I want to finish this video up here, just helping Dawson do some molding in this building. Follow along with his channel, and you get to see the finish on it. And he's considering selling it. So make a comment down there, see if you're interested. You got some ideas he can finish up on. He's got to work on his little kitchenette, some cupboards, finish up some trim, get his stain sealer on, and flooring. Just miscellaneous to finish this project up. We'd like to see if we can get it done in the next couple weeks. And good luck to him on this. I'd like to see him follow this project to the end. It's been a 5-year-long process. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.